Hello everyone, this is Jonathan Kiley with FlySkinz.com. Tonight I'm going to be showing you all how to tie it's like a crusty shrimp slash crayfish kind of fly. Reason I kind of wanted to design this is because some of the areas that I fish, whether I'm doing saltwater or freshwater, I might want to do both, and this one fills that application. So you could possibly fish this for redfish. I've already fished this pattern for bass and it works great. So redfish is just the other type of bass, as I've heard from a lot of southerners. Anywho, here we have this is an Umpqua 600 SP 1/0 hook, and it's a saltwater grade hook. It's actually very sharp. These are kind of expensive, but it's a really good hook and it should last a long time. It's got a really wide gape. I like that it's really heavy duty. Tying on the peak vise tonight. Yes, those are midge jaws, no big deal. This vise can handle just about anything. What I've done is I've put it way back in the jaws there just because I don't want to ruin the little groove there for when I'm tying midges. And I like the amount of room that I have to work on this vise, especially with the midge jaws. Alright, so some of the materials I'll be using is the Slow Rolla Tail here, medium size, which is actually a 1 through 4. That's the recommended hook size, but these tails have a lot of applications. For this particular fly, it's going to be the hook, or I'm sorry, the claws, and then I'm going to use the brown. I'm also going to use some of the EP Tarantula dubbing brushes here. I'm going to use some Harline's. It's like a rusty colored craft fur, the Ultra Select. It's got nice long fibers. I'm also going to be using some silicone legs to accommodate or match the fly. I'll be using, for weight, the Harline's new lead eyes. They're pretty sweet, very durable. I'll be using the 240 Vivus thread, super thick, strong thread. I'm going to use brown. I'm also going to use some of Senyo's, I think it's the Fusion Dub it's called Flame, which is an orange color dubbing, and then I'm also going to use the Tobacco color, which also has some like UV enhanced stuff in it, so it's going to be pretty sweet. Alright, so first things first is I'm going to wrap the shank of the hook here with a jam knot. And go all the way down a little past the bend there, back, and then I'm going to cut off some of my craft fur. Thing with craft fur, it's got under fur, kind of like undercoat on a regular animal fur. You just gotta pluck that stuff out. Hold it on here. Probably gonna go maybe about 1.5 inches, which actually for this particular hook is about 1.5 times the shaft length. Cut off the excess here. Wrap that down. I like this thread a lot. It's like a denier. You can spin it and make it like a cord, or you can just, wrap it around. It's nice and flat. Next thing I want to do is take some epoxy crab slash shrimp eyes. I'm going to use green here, and I'm going to tie them in about 1/4 inch into where the craft fur will be. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab them and I'm going to pull them back all the way and bend them back against the shank of the hook, and that'll flare them out just about right. You can do that with a lighter also prior to putting it on there with the fur, of course. Wrap this down, same spot, come back, bend this up against there nice and tight, and then it'll stick out. Perfect. Alright, cut the excess mono off. Alright, so my next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this flame sinew dub here, which is like a bright orange. You can use a dubbing loop when you put this on, or you can just spin it around the thread like regular dubbing. I'm going to advance my thread real quick. Either way, the way I'm going to show you, it'll stay on there really well. I just want it right behind the eyes. I'm going to put a couple wraps over it. That's no big deal, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my patented handy dandy piece of Velcro here. Careful, don't copy that. It's your next tool on the market. Pluck that forward. Now the next step is I'm going to take my Slow Rolla Tails. Like I said, these are medium brown. What I want to do is I want to make sure, if you were to hold this flat, it's going to be hard to do here. It's going to look like this. And I want the loop to actually be pointed up at this point. That way they're down. It really doesn't matter. This is just the way I like it. Tie that on one side. And I did it right at the bend at the tie-in point here. The other side here. And then I'm going to cut these off. Actually, I'm going to fold it over real quick. They're in there pretty tight. Alright, so there's that. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take some of this tobacco sinew dub. I like this particular color. It's got some greens in there along with that brown color. Same thing, you can do a dubbing loop, or you can just twist it around here and then brush it out. And this is going to kind of hold those legs forward, or the I'm sorry, the claws, or the Slow Rolla Tails. I'm going to brush that forward again. Brush those out, get those nice buggy fibers out of there. Next thing I'm going to do, wrap it, advance a little bit while holding the fibers forward. That'll help kind of flare them forward. I'm going to take the next thing, which is going to be legs. I'm just going to use 4 silicone legs. And they're going to be roughly, these are like a dark brown. They've got some glitter and green and blacks in there. Anyway, I'm going to tie these, and I've cut them already to pre-length for the most part here, no longer than the craft fur there. And then I'm going to tie it forward here, fold these forward, same thing, tie these down. And then I'm going to come in with a little more tobacco color dubbing right over top of this. Go over it. Same thing, brush it out. And then I'm going to grab my Tarantula EP brush. These things are pretty cool. It's got regular, like, probably has EP fiber in there, along with some of the silly legs or rubber legs built in. Alright, so I'm going to leave that forward, and then I'm going to tie on my dumbbell eye. This is the largest dumbbell eye, and it's yellow with a black pupil here. Do my figure 8. Tie that in right there. Do a couple button loops, so to speak, here. And then I'm going to take a little bit of super glue, Put it on there. Get down the threads. Take my EP brush. I'm going to wrap it around. As I wrap it around, I'm going to pull and brush these forward so I'm not wrapping over the existing fibers. That just gives it a fuller look. And go all the way to the end here, all right behind the eye. Wrap secure it in here. Trim this off. No, these are not my scissors I'm trimming wire with. And then bring it forward a little bit. Advance in front there. Whip finish. Cut this off. If you get a little hanger there of thread, check this out. Whew, it's gone. Alright, so now I'm going to take these fibers, I'm going to bend them over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some clear UV flow and I'm going to put it on the back like it's a shell right here. Cure this bad boy. Hit it up with some more. Let it sit. Again. Now I got some standing fibers here. That's no big deal. You can either leave it at this point or not. It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to tighten it up. So I'm going to trim those off. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back with the thick. I'm going to make a little shell. This gives it a really cool look. A little translucentness to it. I'm making up words today, folks. Alright. And that you have is one crusty critter right there. And it will catch fish, people. Be prepared.